Hey dear ones, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing great today. We've got a really important story to break down, one that's making waves across the US political scene. President Donald Trump has just announced that he plans to sign an executive order requiring voter identification for every single election in America. And this isn't just about showing ID, it also involves cutting back on mail-in ballots and even returning to paper ballots and manual counting. Sounds big, right? So let's dive into what this means, why it's controversial, and how it could affect you and me. Trump made the announcement on Truth Social, declaring, "Voter ID must be part of every single vote. No exceptions." Well, almost no exceptions. He did say that those who are sick or in the military would still be allowed to vote by mail. But for the rest of us, that option would be completely eliminated. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal, this proposal could drastically change how elections are carried out across the country. And here's the other big part of his plan. Trump wants to see a total return to paper ballots and hand counting. That means moving away from electronic voting machines, which he has criticized for years as being unreliable or vulnerable to fraud. But here's a question for you. Would you actually feel more confident if every vote was counted by hand, even if it took much longer and possibly introduced human error? Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the legal challenges. The U.S. Constitution gives states and Congress, not the president, the main authority to regulate elections. So, if Trump tries to push this through with an executive order, you can bet it'll end up in the courts almost immediately. And it wouldn't be the first time. Earlier this year, he tried to require proof of citizenship for voter registration, but a federal judge blocked it, ruling it unconstitutional. Legal experts are already saying this new voter ID plan faces the same problem. In fact, Reuters reported that any executive order in this area is almost certain to face lawsuits. Here's another thing to keep in mind. Many states already require some kind of voter ID. Right now, 36 states have voter identification laws on the books, but they vary a lot. Some states are stricter, requiring government-issued photo IDs, while others accept things like student IDs. So, do you think it should be up to individual states to decide, or should there be one standard rule for the whole country? Of course, there are real concerns about what this could mean for voters. Critics say that strict voter ID laws often end up disenfranchising certain groups, people who are elderly, students, minorities, low-income families, or folks with disabilities who may not have the right documents. And if mail-in voting is taken away for most people, what happens to those who simply can't get to polling places easily? It raises a deeper question. How do we balance making elections secure with making them accessible for everyone? And that's really what this whole debate comes down to: security versus accessibility. Supporters of Trump's plan argue that tighter rules will protect against fraud and restore confidence in elections. Opponents argue that fraud is already extremely rare and that these measures will do more harm by keeping eligible voters from casting their ballots. It makes me wonder, do you think the fear of fraud justifies making it harder for some people to vote? On top of that, this proposal plays into the larger political strategy. Trump has consistently focused on election integrity since the 2020 race, and now he's doubling down ahead of the midterms. According to The Guardian, Democrats and voting rights advocates see this as part of a bigger effort to consolidate power and limit voter access, while Trump supporters say it's about protecting democracy itself. Which side do you think is closer to the truth? At the end of the day, Trump's call for mandatory voter ID in every election is one of the boldest moves we've seen in U.S. voting policy in years. Whether you support it or not, it's guaranteed to spark major legal fights and keep the conversation about election laws at the forefront of American politics. And no matter what happens, it's going to shape how millions of people experience the democratic process in the future. So, what do you think? Should voter ID be required everywhere, or should states continue to make their own rules? And how do we make sure our elections are both safe and fair? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more updates and discussions just like this one. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and take care.